Hello, viewers. Today, I would like to talk about the Demon Queen can't defeat the hero once again. And I have to say that in terms of translations, I think that if you are waiting for more chapters to be translated into English, I will be honest. I do not think that many people are really interested in creating what may be called a scanhalation of it. In other words, I believe that is what it is called. But anyhow, basically, those English translations where they literally sort of wipe out the bubbles, where they literally go through, and basically you see these text bubbles where they essentially insert English into them. So far on Kappa Beast, for this series, we have 22 chapters that have been translated. And I have to say, the person who is doing the translations, Gashadokai is also, I believe, doing the translation in Spanish. And this person is a native Spanish speaker, but he is doing one in English too. And his translation, although I think he is trying to do his best, basically, I think that I don't really like this translation. And I think a good deal of the problem, because I have seen grammar mistakes in this translation, I would have to say a good deal of the problem has to do with his grasp of English in general. I have basically taken it upon myself to just essentially do an external translation. What do I mean by that? Basically, I use a good deal of translators. I go through it. I use OCR. Basically the type of technology that allows me to, AI technology that allows me to take an image of the Japanese script and essentially basically look through it. But let me see, maybe I can find this. I use Hanabira OCR, and Hanabira seems to work well. Manga OCR. This particular OCR is especially good for English. For those of you who want to learn Japanese, this website it's a good website to come to, but for me, basically, I just come here for the OCR. So I go here to Manga OCR, Japanese Text Extractor. So if you have any image from, a page that you get from, the website, for example, Young Champion JP, Young Champion Japan. I also translate this page for a particular edge extension. Basically, you can get all of the chapters of the Demon Queen can't defeat the hero here. You can get them all here. But they have about 26. Only 22 have been translated in English. However, basically by coming here I can get them all. And I decided to rent one, and basically I can get the others free. I only have to pay for the latest chapter, and I can read everything else for basically free. And once I read it, I essentially use a particular program called Go Full Page, and I'm able to save that page that I go into. So let's say I want to read, episode 5. They will give me a whole image file. I don't want to spoil things for people, so I'm not going to show you what happens here. But basically, you'll get a file like this. You'll get, you can turn it into PDF file. You can get an image. There are a few extensions like this that allow you to do screen capture. They're really good. If you have problems, get absolute enable right click. if you're on Firefox, get absolute mode so that you can sort of essentially interact with the page, because I do believe you cannot really interact with the page unless, they say unable to run on this page, but I did something with Firefox, but you don't really need that. What you need is go full page, so you can screenshot the whole page and you can essentially, get something like this, and you have the whole Japanese chapter of whichever, part of the manga that you want to read. So, in particular, there were some things that I did notice in this translation that seemed a little less severe in it, in terms of just sort of it made her seem less serious when I read this translation in comparison to what I had translated. So, for example, she'll say like, "Hero, today is the day," and if you read the Japanese version, that, and especially the part I translated, and I basically put it on a rich text file. There's a way you can have it stick next to your images, and essentially sort of there's a program that allows you to basically go out of pages and not have this close. Basically you can put this up next to it. You can scroll down. You can basically read along as you like. That's what I'm doing, because the Kappa Beast translation from Gashadokai, there are problems with it in my opinion. And so I had to go with a OCR. I had to literally go and take screenshots of certain parts of the manga and just go one by one and essentially translate it for myself, because it just was not, I could just tell that I just felt I was missing some context. So, for example, we will come here, and we have this part right here where she's meeting the hero boy, and if you go to Kappa Beast, if you go to their, to this translation, it says, "Hero, today is the day." Okay, very intense, right? Very intense. But if we go to the Japanese translation, did I have the PNG? Or do I have the... You can also do PDF, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I have the PDF and image just to show you that you can do both, basically. But... So I bring my rich text up and see where she says it. And she says, "Hero, I will definitely do it with my own hands." And so that connects with the fact that she says, "My hand will be enough to defeat a kid like him." And basically, I don't know what she does. She kind of uses magic, kind of does some type of claw thing or something like that. Basically, in fighting, she doesn't really use weapons. She doesn't really use a sword. As you go through this manga, you'll realize that the Demon Queen, she kind of has fire, and, she makes a lot of use of her hands. But she, you could say she uses a type of magic, but she's really, a good deal of her fighting capability mostly has to do with her hands and whatever type of magic or power she sort of channels through them. So, no, she's serious, and so when you come here, no, it says, "Hero, I will definitely do it with my own hands." So it's more intense, when you translate this. I think I will be leaving these files up on the comment section or the description box so that you can get a different translation. I've translated even the new chapters. So if you've even read through page 22, I can get that too. And of course I had to translate the whole stuff about Demon King Abyss, because she's not a king. Obviously, it's Demon Queen Abyss. So basically, for whatever reason, her name is Abyss, and she is the Demon Queen, okay? The hero doesn't really have a name most of the time. They're not referring to her as Abyss. They're just referring to her as the Demon Queen, and they're referring to the hero boy as the hero. That's just who they refer. They don't really make a use of names for these two protagonist characters. Interestingly enough, I really do not think that the queen, the Demon Queen, has asked the hero for any name. And I really do not even know if Abyss is really sort of a name for her, but rather maybe a title. I can't say. So obviously with this method of external translation, basically the idea is to keep it on the screen and just to scroll down. If you need to go to the side, you can go to the side. Yes, it's kind of inconvenient, but you may get a better experience out of it because some of these people who are translating, they are not native English speakers. And so when you read the translation, it's not that good. So I just decided I'm actually going to just read the English version. So let's see if we can find any more notable differences in the translations between, Gashadokai's translation and what I've done. So, with translators, AI type translators. So let me see what else is relevant here. For example, I know Gashadokai, he doesn't really translate the things like this, for example. This is heart pounding. Okay, when you see things like this, they're going to be characters, Japanese characters that are going to represent something, but unless you have an OCR or you have a knowledge of Japanese that is somewhat fluent or something like that, you will not understand this. And so in a lot of the more, in a lot of these situations where people basically, sort of fill the boxes in, do an English translation where you have everything in English on the page. They often don't translate things like this. They are more or less sound effects. So, for instance, this is heart pounding, but you see when you go to the English translation of Gashadokai, it's not translated because obviously if you take time to translate this, you're going to have to take time of erasing it and putting words there in English. So a lot of people don't bother to do this. This is why in some cases it really is better to go to an OCR, especially Hanabira. It really is a godsend for any person who is reading manga. And basically you get your text extracted. You upload an image here, you get your text extracted, and you get the result. Whatever you don't get in terms of the result, I would say you're going to have to sort of use your own knowledge of Japanese characters, to sort of supplement that or correct any errors that you may have from the OCR. So basically, whatever you find that basically matches one of these, if you can find one of these Japanese characters and you can sort of what it is, you can input one of those into a translator, Google Translate, DeepL, any of those translators, and you can get yourself a very accurate or a pretty good translation for the most part, depending on which translator you use. And it's good to use just about all of them, because in some cases you are going to have to use context. You are going to have to add some context to what you're reading, because Japanese is such a different language. You will have to sort of add a bit of context for you to understand it in English, and then you can read it, for your reading pleasure again. So once again, you have heart pounding here. That's not translated in the Kappa Beast translation. So sound effects are not going to be translated. Okay. certain things like that are going to be left behind in the translation process from people like Kappa Beast, or rather Gashadokai. He is translating as part of the Kappa Beast group. I don't know how many translators they have. I don't know if he is just one, in other words, the only one they have here at this particular website. But if someone is just a native Spanish speaker, and they speak English as a second language or something like that, I don't particularly prefer translation like that if it has grammar mistakes. I really don't, especially when you see that there is some context missing. So here we have another notable difference. She says, "Hero, I seize any opportunity to defeat you." So this is her basically, as you read through the whole manga, basically she's going to be pretending to be her friend, but his friend. But at the same time, in a sense she is, but she shows that, if she can kill him, she wants to do it, but she can never bring herself to do it. But, I mean, in the Japanese script, when you translate... Okay, this is a whole nother one. This is chapter 23. In the Japanese script, that is going to say... Let me take a look. That's going to say what in the Japanese script? Okay. "Hero, I will bury you when I see my chance." Okay, so this is different than "Hero, I seize any opportunity to defeat you." It's more serious when you translate it, properly, basically. I mean, the translation I got was more severe than the translation he got. So this is "Hero, I seize you any opportunity, I seize any opportunity to defeat you." Now, I see that a lot in his translations. It says defeat you. When I translated the Japanese from the OCR images, it was a lot more serious. She's saying she will bury him. She's saying that, basically, at the same time, she cares a lot about the hero to the point of infatuation, but at the same time, because she's the demon queen and he is the hero, she wants to basically kill him. She's saying, she'll kill him, she'll basically end him with her own hands, all types of things. It's more serious here. And that's what I mean. When you go to the Japanese translation, for sure, Gashadokai's translation, in my opinion, is lacking. It's lacking some things. Okay? It's lacking a lot. In my opinion. So... basically what I get from the translator is a lot more serious. Let's see if there's anything else here. Basically, it's kind of like this throughout. Okay? There are some things that I've noticed that make her character seem a little less serious. Once again, you have her when she's going to arm wrestle with him. Because he challenges her, as he wants to test the strength. The English translation says, "This is my chance to take you down." Okay, the translation according to Gashadokai. So we have the Japanese. It's going to say something different, because basically anytime in her mind she's thinking this, she's thinking, "You know what, I'm going to bury you," and all of this type of talk, and really, really sort of aggressive thinking in her mind. So, okay, let me see, when she's about to arm wrestle him, okay, so let me see, where is it? Okay, it says, "Let's have an arm wrestling match." Okay. She says, I'm going to use the game as an opportunity to kill you. So basically, I think Gashadokai's English, and that's what I got. Okay, that's what I got, okay? To be honest. So, I translated it. It was a lot more serious, okay? Gashadokai's translation says, this is my chance to take you down. But in my translation, I got something different. And maybe the translators I'm using are a bit off, but I mean, that's what it says for me. So, let me see. And I did add a little bit of context so it made sense in English. But basically, when I translated it from a few different translators, that's essentially what I got. So, yes, I would say it is worth to do. It is worth something, I think, to do your own translations for things like this, for certain manga that you really like. Okay? Because when you have a person who's translating the manga, if they lose a bit of the seriousness, a bit of the context, it can really make it seem a lot less serious. And, you know, the Demon Queen as a character, she does have moments where, as a character, she's quite friendly and very lovable, but at the same time, she's still the Demon Queen. And so, because of that, you know, the Demon Queen Abyss is very, very, as a character, she's very aggressive, and that part of her personality, Gashadokai's translation undermines that, and for me, that takes away a lot of the fun, because the Demon Queen Saves the Hero is more of a manga of extremes. It's more of a manga where, okay, you know, she's meeting the hero. The hero is kind of an outcast from, I'm sorry if I spoiled anything. If I spoil something, you know that, you know, hopefully this is for people who've been reading the manga. But I would like more people to talk about it, because this is a lesser known manga. I think that is one of the reasons we have so few translations for it, because not too many people know about it, not too many people care about it, not too many people are buying this on the... If you hear a cat, don't worry about it. Not too many people are buying this on the Japanese website, translating it. Excuse me. I don't really think it's very well known here in the United States, to be honest. But I have to say that hopefully that will change. I do plan to talk about it, and maybe I may even give my final review of the Claymore manga, because that has been something I have been thinking about to some extent, because I should sort of give some closure to those people who watched all of my videos about Claymore. But anyhow, as I said, the Demon Queen Abyss as a character, she's not a good character in terms of just goodness. She's not really... Her goodness and her sort of... Her good aspects of her character are brought out by the hero boy. Okay? But other than that, she's a murderous, evil, aggressive character. And as I read this manga and translated it from Japanese myself with translators, and, you know, basically tried to understand the context, OCR, all of the images, basically going, you know, text bubble by text bubble, all of the expressive phrases that are used outside of the text bubbles, and just basically go through it myself and basically put this on a rich text file and basically read it. I started to realize, wow, you know, I like this character more now than I ever did, and I can see that the character is far more serious and severe than Gashadokai's English translation is making her out to be. So later on, throughout the manga, she's going to become more serious. I don't want to spoil things for people, but because I know not many people are reading this, not many Americans, not many Western people, so to speak, I think, know about this. I think a lot of Japanese people like it, and they're really excited about it. I know they are. But in terms of people from the United States, especially, I don't think they know much about it. I don't even think too many of the Spanish readers know much about it. So, I would have to say that I personally am going to be putting forth an effort to translate this myself. I don't know how to replace text bubbles and text in manga. I know there are websites you can go to sort of create your own more official type translations where you literally replace the Japanese characters with English alphabet, with basically whatever type of language you want to replace it with. But at the same time, I have to say that I am not skilled at that. So because of that, I'm going to have text files. I just usually read them alongside a PDF file or something like that, maybe an image file, and I basically do it like that, okay? So, Gashadokai's translation is not that bad, but it messes up in some very serious ways. And because of that, I just can't, no. I don't feel like actually, basically, I've read all of Gashadokai's translations up until how long has it been, basically? I've read this man's translations, or woman, I don't know who they are. I've read their translations up until 22. So now, since I've read all the translations that I've translated from Japanese, I've basically read through the whole manga that has been released. And I believe the last issue was... When was the last issue? Let me see. The last issue... Okay, the last issue was... I believe it was the 11th or something like that. August the 11th or August the 10th. So basically, the last issue release was August 11th. So, AYAME Gonta, she certainly is still releasing chapters. The artwork is done by someone named Shun KASUGA. Which I have to say, this is probably at this time my favorite manga, and I don't think many things even come close to it in my opinion. So, do I think this will ever be an anime? Maybe, not really, if I'm being honest. Okay, if I'm being honest, I don't think it will be, and if it becomes an anime, it probably won't be released in the United States. I have to say I've grown to appreciate the variety of manga that there are. And here in the United States and basically, the European Union, all of these countries out here in the West, it seems as though a good deal of artistic content and ingenuity is becoming more censored, all in the effort to protect the children. And you can't have interesting stories when you have censored media. Okay, stories have to have flexibility. I have read through this whole manga. Nothing in it has been sort of really extremely... there really has not been that much in the way of, sexuality, save for the design of the characters, which is pretty obvious. But, I have read sexual manga. This is not really a sexual manga. A woman is writing this, and she's doing a very good job at it. And I have to say, if this is the quality of AYAME Gonta's manga, I feel like I should read more, to be honest. So, hopefully, she'll continue writing. Shun KASUGA will continue doing the artwork because it's really good. And I have noticed that a lot of women who do manga writing, there's another one too. I forget her name. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of women doing manga writing, but I have to say, there's a woman who apparently is pretty new, and she also has a manga artist doing her artwork. That is something that especially a lot of men in the manga writing business, they happen to like to write the manga and do the artwork. But if this is a difference that female manga writers have, it is a very interesting one, where per adventure you have more of them doing the writing and getting someone else to do the artwork. I have to say, from what I've experienced, it's working pretty well. It seems that her writing is very good because the character of the Demon Queen, basically, the hero boy is very consistent in terms of his behavior, but the Demon Queen is more, sometimes she can be affectionate, sometimes she wants to kill the hero, sometimes she's a character who you cannot really read well, but you kind of know that her love for the hero will kind of win out in the end, and she won't really kill him, because of course the idea is that the Demon Queen and the hero are enemies, and basically they're supposed to fight against each other. And so the hero believes that he's going to basically be the one to conquer the Demon Queen. That's his dream, but he does not know that the Demon Queen is the Demon Queen. He calls her his master. Okay, so if you didn't see the first episode where I kind of read the first chapter about this, you kind of don't know what I'm talking about. But this is a pretty good manga. I would have to say, at the moment, it's my favorite, without any doubt. It's just so cute and lovable, and the woman, she's really a boss, I have to say, in terms of just personality. Very strong type of female character, because right here she's saying basically, I'm going to take this as an opportunity, and you can see her hand kind of erupting in fire. She says, I'm going to take this opportunity, this game is an opportunity to kill him. But at the same time, she's winning, but at the same time, she's not killing him. She's even trying to comfort him when he cries. So you have to sort of put your mindset in them to understand this. Basically, she's a demon. She's supposed to be the enemy of humans. She's pretending to be, the hero's master or whatever, because he thought she was cool, and he decided, hey, can you train me? And so she decides to train him, but she really wants to kill him, but at the same time she's not killing him. She's disappointed that she cannot kill him, that she's not doing it, and she keeps becoming more and more friendly with him. Is it the type of maternal relationship? Is it more than that? Hey, I don't know. I can't really quantify it. It's kind of up in the air. Is this a Shota type manga? Yes, but it's not really. The overtones are not, they never get very, very sexual with it. There is sex appeal there, but it's not. It's not like some manga I've read. It's especially not like a hentai manga, no. But at the same time, the character's just interesting because you have a sense of danger in the manga where, okay, is she going to kill him? Is she going to try to kill him? Are they going to fight? I already have read all of the chapters, so I know a lot already, but she's kind of a character who you cannot really expect. You don't know what she's going to do. I like that. This has been quite exciting. Japanese manga, it seems like this one in particular surprised me. I thought that I kind of, got I kind of knew what manga was in terms of what it could offer. And then I read this. And then I thought, okay, the character is so interesting. The two protagonist characters are so interesting that, I mean, you could call let me see. You could call I mean, is the Demon Queen a type of antagonist? I mean, I don't know, because in terms of character, she's sort of, in a sense, the protagonist. She's the character you see first. She's the dialogue you get first in the manga. So I think most of it is about her, and that makes sense in terms of, a woman writer who's writing it. So of course the female character may very well receive more attention than she did. And I have to say that I am very pleased, because she's a very interesting character. And the manga thus far has been proceeding quite well. From now on, I think I'm just going to go ahead and just get the Japanese chapters, rent them, basically rent them out occasionally, and just keep translating on my own, because this is too interesting for me to wait for badly translated content from Gashadokai. I think that his translations is okay, but at the same time there's some key things that it's missing, and I think I can do better. If anyone wants to take this and create something more official, such as fill the text bubbles in, make a translation based on what I have found, you can. I may be revealing, I may be posting links soon. I may be posting these in the comment section, or the description, or just making a whole new video entirely and giving you what I have. Anyhow, viewers, may you be blessed, and farewell. It's been kind of fun.